One day I'm getting up early, next time I get out late. That's okay. Life goes on. Just heard, I don't know how reliable the source is, but we'll run with it anyway. I mean, it's actually pretty good news for some people, but don't hold your breath on this information yet. Seen it flop on its face many times. Across the United States, we have had a lot of states in just recent history legalize medical marijuana, and also legalize it in the non-medical state too. But in Pennsylvania, they've been fighting for it for a while. You know, like, oh, don't hold your breath, don't hold your breath. And so as one or two of you have been the same way. Well, guess what? In Pennsylvania, it's not legalized yet. No. Hold your pants on. But it is going through its final stages of being voted in, being legalized for medical use. And saying that, it's still running through the House. So I mean, but this is the furthest it ever has been. And every step counts. But the catch for it is, there's always a freaking catch, isn't there? The catch for it is that it cannot be smoked. This is for medical marijuana. It cannot be smoked like you would think a traditional way of smoking it. Taking it. It's got to be consumed like in brownies, cookies, whatever. It's got to be in drops you put underneath your tongue, or it's got to be vaped, from what I understand. Which, with me being a vape, I vape anyway. It's not a big deal. I'll use the same equipment as I do to vape that I would if I were to be on medical. And but this has, I mean, the studies has done it where a lot of chronic illnesses and stuff, different things, marijuana is actually more beneficial than, say, morphine, any type of fentanyl, any type like that. And after a short period of time, you can actually live somewhat of a normal life. And this has been proven on morphine and fentanyl also. Don't know too much about fentanyl, but morphine I know it does. That you can, even being on high dosage, you can lead a normal life. You're not high as a kite, high as the sky. While you're on it, your body builds up tolerances for being high, but you still get the therapeutic benefits of it. Which I'm almost at the store anyway, talking about drugs. Yeah, Walgreens. And whenever I come out, I'll finish this discussion. Okay, everybody, I normally would have really liked to start this out in a row, but you know what? The traffic and mayhem and everything, why not? But I just figured I'd just resume my video, bring them, kind of latch them all together, latch them both together. Okay, pick them up. I'll latch them together. Well, like I say, you can be a therapeutic dosages and high dosages at that. As far as pain relief, pain medicine, I'm talking morphine, and not be high as a kite. Yes, I know this for a fact. I'm not going by studies. I'm not going by hearsay. or anything. What I'm going by, what I'm going to go by is basically what I know. Because, I mean, back whenever I used to live in Maryland, and I'll tell you what, over there, the doctor that I had, I don't know if he's still in practice anymore, but back there, whenever I was on, pain medicine was like candy. I mean, I had good insurance. It covered it, no problem. And I was on fentanyl. I was 100 microgram patches. And I was high as a kite. I mean, you could have stabbed me, shot me, and I would have probably felt it, but I wouldn't have really cared. And by saying that, though, life, it gave me quantity of life because I wasn't going insane, wanting to kill myself and all this crap, or wanting to kill other people due to the pain. But it wasn't giving me quality of life. Well, some people say, being high all the time be quality. It's not. It gets old real quick. So whenever I moved back, I got a hold of this, actually my family physician I have right now. And I sat him down and I talked to him, and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't want to be this way. Let's try bringing me off of this. Put me on something different, something not quite so strong. I was getting fed up with the patches anyway. I was on patches because they would come off prematurely and all this, and it was just miserable. And no, just taking them back on don't work. I was told to do that. It doesn't quite work. So it was like, yeah. So but he got me on a lower dosage, and to control my pain levels, and they're controlled to the point where I'm in pain all the time, yeah, but I'm not in excruciating pain. I mean, terrorizing pain, most of the time I'm just in grit your teeth pain, for the most part, and there's times that it's a little lighter. But I'm actually, and I don't like giving out information like this, but I want to do it for the sakes of this. I'm going to turn here and zigzag around a bit, just to make this a little longer. Because I'll be out of time here real quick. But I mean, the pain, it's there, yeah. I don't know, and I've learned to turn the pain into my friend. But being on such a high dose, it basically blowing away my receptors. I mean, I just been that high for so long. I was on it for 2 years. I was high as a kite. But it was like, do you know what? I manage just like, I feel normal. I'm not high. I don't even have a buzz going on at all. Now, if I add too much to what I have, I do feel a little bit of euphoria, however you want to call it, but it's not bad at all. So the doctor put me through several testing and stuff. Went to see if I was sober and stuff on it, and he said, you're like a normal person, so you're able to drive, you're able to operate heavy machinery, let's say. Now, could I be charged in a court of law with that? That could be. People say, "Oh yeah," and all this. And I've had police officers say, "Not right." It's very gray. It really is. But if I have several doctors that are willing to state and stand by and say, he wasn't high, the drugs was not affecting him in that manner, then it could be fought. I'm just putting myself out there. which I don't mind. I really don't. I mean, if it wasn't for the medication, I'd be out of my mind, really. But on the other hand, the effects of marijuana is different, and it is studied, and it can help certain conditions, and one of them is fibromyalgia and chronic pain. And why is this lead for me? Hits home for me is because my wife suffers from severe fibromyalgia, and she has for several years. I mean, it's not something you just bam, I got it. No, you go through it in stages. Hers is pretty bad, and I mean, this is something she can pop into remission, or whenever. She's never popped into remission, but it's like. But it would help her instead of being on narcotics. Myself, being a chronic pain patient, it's proven to be able to help. It'll get me off narcotics, and I'm actually on a pain medication. Medication right now that was actually created for seizures. But they found out it didn't do quite so well seizures, but it did do very well with crush injuries for the nerves, which that's part of my pain problem. And since I've been on it, I've felt less pain. You do have a stop sign, buddy. I felt less pain, so it's like, well, it does help. So what I'm thinking, if this does go through, and I'm not saying it is, you can't hold your breath to it. I mean, you just never know. I mean, last second, they don't get the votes through. But, and there's a lot of buts. But if it does, I mean, if it does go through, I mean, this would open the door up for so many people, so many patients. Is there a risk of it being abused? Yes, okay, like anything and everything. I mean, it's just like, I mean, come on. The laws in Pennsylvania has made it. I always stop there, and I don't have to. Laws has made it in Pennsylvania so getting narcotics is not easy. You got to go through drug testing a few times a year. You got to make sure your levels are up to what they were prescribing, the whole 9 yards. Which, I mean, it is what it is, and they could do basically the same thing in speaking as they do with narcotics, and help keep it regulated. And I mean, no matter what, anything can be abused, and too much of any good thing is not good. And of course, that's what I learned through the fentanyl. So, I mean, but yeah, I think this is one step, and at least it can be put out there. So these studies can be done and seen if they really do work. I mean, the best way you can, if you think about it, to really make sure this stuff is going to do what people like scientists say it's going to do, put it out there. As long as it doesn't have a high lethality. I mean, legalize it, put it out there, and if it doesn't work, well, that's another blunder. But this is MuzzleMike. I figured I'd put this out. Don't hold your breath on it, guys, but I think it's, especially fellow Pennsylvanians. But I mean, it is working across the country, and I think it's something that's needed. But this is MuzzleMike. signing out. Have a great day, guys. Ride safe. Be safe. Be well.